Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of a band that is being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this October. If this is your very first time to listen to this podcast, we talk about one band. We are going to mention some other bands just because our guest today, had an awakening and went to go see another band. So we'll talk about that. But for the most part, we talk about one band and one band only, and that band is the Dave Matthews Band. So if you're not familiar with who in the world the Dave Matthews Band is, then my first question is, how in the world did you find this podcast? That is my first question, because that is all we talk about. Over 125 episodes now. And what I do is focus in on the fan stories behind the Dave Matthews Band, with them having over 30 plus years of music and live shows. They've just picked up a ton of fans along the way, fans that have been in line from the very beginning and fans that have just found the music. And so everybody's journey is a little different because of that. And so every episode I invite a fan of the Dave Matthews Band on the show to tell their journey and how they found the music and how it's changed their lives. So I'd invite you to find an episode in the 125 plus episodes that are out there. There are some heart-wrenching ones. There are some happy ones. There are some silly ones. There are episodes of all different kinds. And again, that's just proof that the Dave Matthews Band has done so many things for so many different people. So today, I have a guest that has been on this show before. I invited her back because, guys, we buckle up. This story that we are about to tell, this has not been told before on this podcast. Exclusive. This is an exclusive. I know. When I found out the information that my guest has today, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, will you let me tell your story? Like, don't tell anybody. Let me help share this story, because, guys, it's so good. So I have Jen Ryder on the show today. Jen, thank you so much for coming back on the show. If you have been listening to my show, Jen is a big fan of the show. She calls into the voicemail. She leaves great voicemails. She has just done everything to kind of help push this out to people. And so, Jen, thank you so much for joining the show again. Tell everyone, first of all, in case they just are not familiar with you, where in the world do you live?
I live in Cranston, Rhode Island, smallest little state in the country. If you don't know, it's not state. Long Island, which everyone's like, oh, so you're from New York. It's not. It's its own state.
Rhode Island.
Massachusetts and Connecticut. So in case you think I said Long Island, it's Rhode Island.
It's Rhode Island. Yeah, the tiniest little state in the United States. I have never been to Rhode Island. I know Justin and I both want to visit. So, and you're our ticket there now. We know somebody in Rhode Island and we have to go.
Anytime.
Yeah, we're ready. So, of course, this year, 2024, has been a jam-packed year when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band. They opened up the year doing a lot of different things. Of course, they did their traditional Mexico run just with Dave and Tim. After getting off a brutal 2023 tour. I say brutal just because I don't know how in the world they have managed to do it physically and mentally, but they went into 2024 just, running. Then of course did their Europe tour right after, pretty much 2 weeks after Europe ended. They were back into the United States doing a full summer tour. And we have literally just finished up. Here we are, we're stepping into September, and we collectively, as the band and the fans, have finished the summer tour for 2024. So we're in a brief pause. So this gives us some time to reflect. And Jen, you did something this year that you have never done as a fan. Tell us what you did.
First time ever, I made my pilgrimage out to the Gorge. Been planning it for a year, and yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I don't think you could pick enough words to say and describe what it was like to be there.
Yeah.
The people, the nature, the background, just the vistas, like everything. It's incredible. And then you have the band on top of it. So
Right.
I mean,
Right.
it's you have to go. Like people just have to go at least one time. Like you can never say, "Oh, next year," because as we all know, those next years are getting less and less. So
That's right. That's right. But I would say like the Gorge is one of those things as if you're a new fan to the Dave Matthews Band, first of all, I want to say congratulations. You've not found the music too late. You are never too late to find the music of the Dave Matthews Band. Um, but one of the things that you start hearing, especially when you really kind of get into the community of fans, is you start hearing about, well, have you seen the band here? Well, have you seen the band here? And so there is a long list of places that people will point you in the direction to see the Dave Matthews Band, simply because the band really does kind of shine in a different way in these venues, and they love these venues. And of course, one of them is exactly where Jen went this year, which is the Gorge. If you're not familiar with where that is in the state of Washington. It is about 2.5 hours northeast of Seattle. So there is quite the pilgrimage, as she said. Not only do you get to go to Seattle or wherever you fly into in Washington, you have a bit of a drive because the Gorge is in the middle of nowhere. Can I get an amen on that? I mean, like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly what people say. There is nothing around there at all. Like
no,
nothing.
There is nothing. But what there is a very large gorge, meaning that there is, how would you describe this? Because I don't have the words. How do you describe what the gorge is, like physically, like landscape wise?
Say it's like a rock formation that drops off to a river, reminiscent of like the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
But just not as majestic as that. And
but it
just,
is, I mean, yeah.
You just look and look and look, and there's nothing but rock and river and desert and dust and
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I agree with Jen. You know, if you've never been and you're looking for a new place to go to, it is one of those venues that every fan needs to experience once. For the most part, I'd like to say that everyone really does love the Gorge. It does require a lot of homework. It does require a lot of planning and packing, because once you get out there, like we said, it is in the middle of nowhere. Once you get out there, there are limited options on where you're going to stay and how you're going to stay, or are you going to be transporting in some way back and forth to a hotel, because there are no hotels there. There are no stores there. Like it is literally in the middle of nowhere. So you got to pack in what you need and kind of throw it away as you leave, because you can't get on the airplane with this stuff again unless you've drove in. But definitely check out the Gorge. You can go to any website, type in Gorge, Washington State. Of course, other bands play here. It is a venue that is rotated in so many bands' tour schedules. And so definitely check this out. So what was it that prompted you specifically to go, you know what, this year is the year I'm going to go?
Because last year I was watching all the posts about everyone, and I knew they played every year. I knew it was a 3-day thing. I didn't know it was as big as it was, big of a deal. The measures people go to as far as like passing out swag and setting up their campsites, and just it's more than you can ever imagine. And afterwards, everyone just kept saying how their Dave impression set in. I'm like, but it's just 3 concerts. Like, what are these people talking about? And then the more I read about, the more pictures I saw, I said, this is more than just 3 concerts. It's more than the music. I mean, that's what gets you there is you want to go see the band. You want to see them perform. It's, 3 nights of music, and it's no repeated songs, and they have special guests come out, and it's incredible. And you watch the sunset while they perform, and it's just so magical. It's more than just saying, hey, I'm going to go to Xfinity Center tonight and watch the Dave Matthews Band. It's an experience that you can't put into words until you've been there yourself and you can see it. It's hard to describe until you've been there.
It's really true. I mean, I've only been the one time. I went in 2023 with my husband, and I feel the same way. Like everyone tried to prepare me with words and pictures and videos. And I dug in and I did my homework. I looked for any videos I could find on YouTube to try to wrap my head around like what it is that I was about to do, because there was that side of me that was a little fearful of the unknown and like, am I going to be prepared? And being so far from home, I mean, my goodness, you literally traveled across the country. It couldn't have been any further than from Rhode Island to Washington. And like, do I have everything in my bag that I'm going to need for this time? Because you are there for longer than just the 3 nights. And there are so many activities that the fans of the Dave Matthews Band plan for when you're there. And so let's kind of go through that. So like, what was the process? You get there, you've made it to the Gorge, you find your campsite. Like, talk to me about the different kinds of campsites. Like, what do people need to know if they plan to go there?
So you have to decide where you want to camp first. If you're going to camp at the Gorge, are you going to go standard? Are you going premier? Are you going gold? Do you want terrace? Do you want glamp out and oasis? You got to figure based on your budget what level you want. That's the first thing you got to figure out. Gold has all the fun activities. I can't speak for the other ones because Gold was the one where I knew the most about because of your venture there last year.
Right, yeah. Gold is where it was at.
So once you pick where you're camping, you got to pick what you're camping with. Yes. Are you going to roll in with a rental and put up a tent and sleep in sleeping bags, which would be like your standard camping?
Yeah.
Are you going to come in, with a little camper van, or are you going to come in with an RV and you can say, am I going to go premier or am I going to go into gold? Yeah. And really, like, the difference is really the distance of those two, which you look on the map, they look very close to each other. They are not that close to each other. They are not that close to each other.
They are not close at all.
They're not close. And when it's 100 degrees out and you're walking in between the two.
Or pitch dark. Yeah. Because there's not a lot of lights either.
Yeah. Figure out where your friends and your crew are going to be and all pick the same area. That's key number 1.
Yeah.
Pick the same area.
Yeah.
So then you decide, what are you doing? So we had a Sprinter van. It was me, my friend Amy, and her husband Ed. The 3 of us had a camper van, and it was perfect for us for 3 people. So not as bougie as an RV, but some people have with air conditioning and a generator and a shower and a bathroom. But we were parked right by the showers and the bathroom, so we were fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that worked out well. It was cool enough at night for the most part where you didn't, we weren't worried about air conditioning. We had fans on the top of the van, and it came with everything we needed to cook with. And, the only thing we really had to do was get food and ice for that. So, so you decide if you want to do an RV drop off, if you're local, you can drive in and you have, pull along RV, or you have your own RV, or whatever your situation is, what you're camping with, that's what you decide next.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are a lot of options. I mean, I know that, camping was not my thing. And if you've listened to this podcast before, you've heard me say that the Gorge was not my favorite venue, but it really is specifically about all of these things that we're talking about right here, like the planning and the camping and all of that. Like, that was not my jam, especially when you're spending thousands of dollars to get to this place. And then you realize, oh shit, I literally have to do everything for myself. And so you have to kind of go in knowing that you're about to do the work yourself. There is no one out there that is going to do it for you, but there are some options for people that may not want to do that level of work. There are some Airbnbs that are close that will require you to travel back and forth, but there are also like designated buses that are for the fans of the Dave Matthews Band that transport people from the Gorge to hotels back and forth. And they're almost like party buses. So there may be, beverages served on the bus. I'm sure there's music, but then just the camaraderie of all the fans. So I can see that there's an attractive part to that too. And I've heard a lot of great things about the Gorge buses. So, if you're looking to go in the future, definitely dig in, start doing your homework now, because there is a lot to figure out. There are a lot of different levels. And so, let's talk about your first trip. So, of course, we've gotten past all the packing. What was the community like? So, we've got thousands of fans there, specifically to see the Dave Matthews Band. And no one is there by mistake. Like, you don't show up to the Gorge in a mistake situation. Like, you're there on purpose to see the Dave Matthews Band. What was it like? Like, what kinds of things did you see that people were organizing that are just fans like you and me? What were people doing there?
The first thing on Thursday night, which is night 0, which is the night before the concert for people that are new to the lingo, they had the dinner, the burrito dinner, but the potluck dinner on Thursday night, which we got in there and just missed it. By the time we got in there and got set up, it had just ended. So that was it's in a section of Gold called Area 41. Shout out to the people who run Area 41 Goldies. They do an amazing job.
Yeah.
Like they run this like flawlessly, as if they're being paid to do it. And they're not being paid to do it. No. They're doing this because they love the people in the community. So So the potluck was Thursday night. And then a couple hours after the potluck, they do the parade, the Freaks on Parade.
Freaks on Parade.
And everyone dresses up in whatever costume, lights, wings.
So did you participate? Did you do it?
We did not. We saw them pass around. We just did not have the time to get.
It's so much fun to watch, whether you watch or participate. Like, it's a group of fans that have brought costumes in. A lot of them are lit. Some of them are homemade. Some are bought. I mean, like, it's just a great group of, people that are just letting their freak flag fly that night. We're celebrating that we have gotten there. The music is on the way, and we're happy to be where we are. And they kind of just make a parade all the way through, pretty much just Gold though, right? Yeah, just pretty much through Gold. So again, Gold is popular for a lot of events. I know that Premier and Standard probably have their own things, but again, we can only talk about what we know. And Jen and I have only ever been in Gold. So I'm sure that there are a lot of informations out there for Premier and Standard and Oasis and all the different levels. But Freaks on Parade was a lot of fun. Music blaring, people dancing, having a great time.
Being passed out.
Oh yeah. I mean,
the swag is just it's another level. Yeah. It's another level at the Gorge. So many creative people, so many.
Truly, like the stickers, the bracelets, the koozies, the everything that people make and bring just to pass out for free.
Yeah.
Look at, oh my God, that is so many.
It's a poster tube. Gotta do something with the poster tubes, right? So
oh my God.
I still have more. This isn't all of them. So
wow.
So I gotta make another one. Posters.
The generosity.
Then, like, someone made shot glasses that they gave out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the money, the time, the
shot glasses, like koozies.
Yes.
I mean, if you just go into any of the Gorge communities on Facebook, someone made a joke today that we've been posting our swag piles like kids do their trick or treat candies.
Hell yeah. This is Christmas and trick or treat. It's all the holidays in one. You go to a Dave event and you come back with, like, you have to bring an empty bag to bring back all the swag because you're coming back with stuff. Like, it is going to happen.
If you didn't get swag, it's because you probably never left your RV.
You never left because people don't.
Impossible not to get it.
They're just handing out stuff, like, to strangers. Like, you don't have to know them. They're just hey, here's a bracelet, here's a sticker, here's a koozie, whatever. Like, it really is just people wanting to love on people and share their love of the band. So definitely lots of activities. Now, I want to, again, this episode, I'm so excited because Jen is about to share a story with us of something that she packed along in her suitcase. But there is a little bit of history before she packed this in the suitcase. So Jen, tell us, like, I know you know where I'm going with this story. Tell us the beginning of the story, how it all began.
So I recently moved a couple months ago. So if you saw my other episode, the background's a little bit different. So I'm now in a condo. So
yay!
And as I was unpacking, I had this shadow box that this is something I had won, and I can't exactly remember how I won it. If it was like a radio contest or something I like wrote in and filled out and then got picked. But I won this item, and it is a shadow box, and it has a piece of the Boston Celtics championship court from when they won the championship in 2008. So it's a piece of the court. It's probably about that big. It's in a shadow box with like green border around it with a plaque that tells you what it is. And I've had it, and it's just been tucked away and packed while I was, in limbo between places and not wanting to put everything up on the walls yet. So as I'm packing in July, I come across it, and I'm like, as you can tell, I have a theme in my decor.
Is it the Dave Matthews Band?
So this piece didn't really go with everything, and I was thinking, I wanted to give to someone that I knew would appreciate it. Someone that was a big Celtics fan. And the first person I thought of course, is our very own Buddy Strong, because he loves the Celtics. He would wear Celtics shirts on tour. If he went to Mansfield, he threw in a little Celtics lyric. So he loves it. He's, was so happy to be in Mansfield because he was near, the home of the Celtics. And he loves that team. And if you know Buddy and you follow him on Instagram, you've seen any of his videos, any of his stories, then you know he's a huge Celtics fan. So I thought I have to get this item to him. It's like somehow through somehow I'm going to get this in his hands because he needs to have it. Not necessarily me personally handing it to him, but I just want him to have it because I knew it would make him happy. It wasn't me trying to say, "Ooh, let me try and meet the band." And this was something I wanted to give him because I knew it would make him happy, and he does so much for us with his music, and just seeing him how he's progressed over the years of the band, and now he's up there singing and he's jamming, and he's just phenomenal. He's phenomenal, and he's such a big part of the band now. And I just wanted him to have it to show my appreciation to him, and to give it to someone I knew that was going to love on it, and it wasn't going to sit in a box for 10 more years. So.
Right. So how do you start when you have that idea? What do you do with that idea? Because for me, and I think most fans, we love this band, but they are to a point unreachable, right? They are famous
totally unreachable
singers. I can only speak for myself, and Jen, you have spoke for yourself. There is no point at where I am trying to get to them. If I meet them, great, whatever. If it happens, super awesome, but I'm not trying to get to them. And you were not trying to get to Buddy. So when you have an idea, I want to try to get this thing to this super rock star, what is your first thing that you think, let me try this?
So first I thought I'll go to the management, and I'm not gonna say specifically who assisted down the line because I don't want I don't want them to get blown up. So
no.
I went to management first. I went to their management website and looked them up and emailed them, and nothing.
Crickets.
Nothing. Yeah, zero response. It probably just went right into a spam delete file. Whatever.
I'm sure with all the other fans that are trying to give shit away, right?
Yeah. Though I will say that the subject line of the email was "gift for Buddy." So to kind of make it stand out, but really the management doesn't really care about that. So if you guys are listening, I didn't say you didn't care. I just didn't care about what I was trying to do. So
we love you, management. We love you.
You guys are great. Keep it going.
Keep doing what you're doing. We hope you have a job for the next 20 years.
Which is understandable. I'm sure, like you said, they get bombarded with emails. I'm sure they're dealing with stuff that's probably getting charity stuff set up for them and appearances and things that are way above someone like me. So I didn't expect to hear back from them. Yeah. So it wasn't any, and when this started, I didn't tell anyone I was doing this because I didn't want to. I wanted to be the only one disappointed. I didn't want to have to tell 5-10 more people. I'm sorry. So I told no one. Not even my friends that came with me knew I had that in my bag. So, so then I go back after 2 weeks, and I was like, let me try the publicist. So I emailed the publicist. And of course, us being fans, I don't know if Buddy has the same. I'm assuming they're all represented by the same company.
I guess.
Because I know that Buddy also has his own Be Strong and Buddy Strong
I'm sure they have multiple.
That.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, and that again, crickets, nowhere. So
not getting through.
I went my third route, which I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want people to be like, well, this is the way to get in with a band. And the third route worked out. And the third route, so the way we worded the email was, the first one was, it was before Mansfield. So I said I could bring it to Mansfield or and give it to a crew member. I never once said, I want to personally hand this to Buddy. I said, I can bring it to a venue and I can give it to a crew member, or I give me an address to the manager crew and I'll mail it to somebody. I never said, give me Buddy's address, or, I just said, let me get to someone who can get to him, was basically what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to be backstage or do anything. So, so the email was basically said, I had this gift for him. I explained the gift. I sent a picture of it so they knew that I wasn't like, crazy. Trying to be fake. And I said, I have Mansfield coming up, which was in July. So I'm going to the Mansfield show and I can bring it there. Or after that, I'm going to be at the Gorge and I wouldn't mind bringing it there, thinking like, how the heck am I going to get this there? But that's, So I heard nothing before Mansfield from, the publicist or management. So I went on my third route and emailed this particular organization, and they got back to me, and I can actually read to you what they said.
Let's hear it here.
So I don't have to paraphrase it.
No, we want to know every detail.
I sent this email to Red Light Management. I've yet to receive a reply. I already know everyone's busy with it being tour season. I'm hoping you can assist me or guide me to the right path. And I've recently moved, and while unpacking, discovered I have a framed piece of the 2008 Boston Celtics championship arcade floor. Blah, blah, I know how much Buddy loves the Celtics. He's a much bigger fan than I am, and he would appreciate it more than me. I was at Mansfield early this month. I love seeing Buddy wearing, he has a Celtics jersey on. Said, please let me know how I can get this to him, possibly to management via mail. I'll also be at the Gorge and get handed to a crew member if that's easier. So again, not looking to meet Buddy or anything. I attached a picture of it. If you could forward this on to the appropriate person, if it's not you, that would be great. I can definitely bring it with me. And so that was the synopsis of my email. And then I don't know if the picture will come through.
Just a picture of exactly what it looks like.
So this is what it was if you're watching on YouTube.
If you're watching on YouTube, you get to see all of this. So definitely be sure to check out the YouTube channel. It's simply under the Space Between podcast.
The reply I got back was, Jen, this is so kind of you. Are you absolutely sure you want to part with it? Bring it to the Gorge and reply here on August 29th, and we'll inquire with the tour. Thank you. This is so thoughtful of you.
Oh, wow.
So I brought it, and on, first thing on the 29th, sent the email and said, I have it with me. I'm so excited. Let me know what to do. I took it out there. And again, as you know, like the cell phone reception can be, sometimes you get everything and sometimes you get nothing. So I just said, just let me know if anything transpires.
Yeah.
And so get out there. And of course, I'm just constantly checking my phone, waiting for anything. And so Thursday night goes, nothing. Friday comes and goes, nothing. Saturday, nada. And then Sunday morning, I wake up and said, let me just email these people back. So maybe I'm missing something.
Just throwing that Hail Mary, one last attempt.
Because, this is it. It's night 3. This is my last chance. And honestly, I didn't want to travel back with it because I had too much stuff. I had way too much stuff at this point. So I emailed back. We have a lot of emails back and forth. And I said, hello again, just checking in on an update on my gift to Buddy. Hoping to hear good news. Immediately, they said, a tour crew member texted you, but not hear back. Did we have the right number? Please provide us with a correction if we had it wrong, or perhaps another cell number with you, as Buddy does want it. And he thanks you for your kindness.
Oh my goodness.
So.
Did your heart sink when you read that?
I froze. we're sitting eating breakfast. I go, oh my God, Buddy wants my gift. Buddy knows about it and he wants it. And so now we're in crunch time because now it's, Sunday morning and we're like, okay, we got to figure this out. So I looked down my text messages and buried deep down, it must have come in a long time ago. It was a text message from Friday morning.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
Saying, hey, I still have everything. So
Of course you do. You're going to
it's
print it out and frame that shit.
Yeah, so it was buried deep down. And he also said, he's like, you probably thought it was like some spam, by the way. He goes, hello, Jen. I'm not going to say, well,
no,
I'm not going to say what it is.
We will not disclose.
Goes, word has come down from high that you might have something you'd like to give Buddy. Happy to facilitate that for you. Just let me know how to find you. That came through on Friday night at 8 p.m. And he goes, thank you for being so kind. I think he'll love it. And then Saturday at 12:53, we finally connected. Was it 12:53? Oh, sorry. This is now all Eastern time. So it was West Coast. So it was 5:18 for the first one. And I messaged him back at 9:53 in the morning. So we ended up meeting at the campground store, the camping store, general camping store, at 11 Sunday morning, and made the exchange.
And dropped the package.
And this
package
person
was delivered.
This person, which I think I told you who it was. I'm not going to say.
Oh, I know, but I won't say. Yeah, no way.
This person was hilarious. We talked for like 15 minutes. I think he's my new best friend. And yeah, he was just great. He was just great. And he took it. He had a bicycle. I was like, I go, can't get you a golf cart, like, you know.
Come on, Dave Matthews Band. We know you got money.
I know. So,
but bikes are cool.
Yeah. So we chatted, and we're just like, hey, like, think we could get a lounge pass.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Did you throw that out?
I think I texted it, being like, because I knew there was no chance of, like, you know, of a encounter,
like a meet and greet. Yeah.
Because we were basically explaining that, like, it's impossible for anyone to at the Gorge, because it's basically like Dave's home venue.
Sure.
And he has way too many friends and family there, and it's just way too busy backstage. And the band rolls in there like 4:30, and once they get there, they're like, it's crazy. So for sure. So I knew, like, we weren't gonna see anyone or whatever, but he's like, well, let me, you know, ask this other person for a favor, because I'm out of favors with this person. See if I can, you know, get you guys in the lounge. And it basically was just, you have to check at the box office like after 3:30 and see, like, if you get into the lounge. So so that's how it was left. The exchange was made, and that was at 11 in the morning. And let's see what time.
So did you ask, like, did you ask for like proof of transfer? Like,
I did. So this person did offer, like, I can take a picture for you. I go, I just want to see that he has it. I just, you know, I know that you have it now, and I'm going to see you go away with it, but I just want to know that he gets it. Right. I go, if you could just take a picture of him with it, you know, a picture like, you know, here it is. And just so I know. So and that's all I asked. And so, and I think I did send it. I think I sent it to you right away. So before that occurred, then we did get our lounge passes.
Yeah, you got your lounge passes.
They did come through.
She's fancy. Great. She's fancy. So if you're watching this, if you're not watching this, you should watch this, because Jen was so kind to record what the lounge looked like. It gives you kind of a behind the scenes look, if you will, because we know that in the lounge it is a lot of friends and family type situations. No, the band's not back there. They could be, whatever. They could be chilling, but they're not. But it is cool. It's free drinks, free food, air conditioning. So it was awesome. So be sure to check out the YouTube side of this, because I'm going to insert this video right now. Bye.
Happy night 3.
Okay, so the lounge was really awesome. Was that your first time in the lounge?
Yeah. And apparently at the Gorge, there's 2 lounges. So that lounge is out in the the concessions area. It's like where everyone else is. Like if you walk by, and it's just nondescript building that says, with a sign on it says D&B Lounge opens at 5:30. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But they had another one that was backstage, and that was for like friends and family.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. So
we got to get on that list, Jen.
I know,
That's our next. Like
one task
friends,
at a time,
family, housekeepers, whatever we need to be.
Anything.
I can clean. I can be a nurse on staff. Like what did you need?
Need some laundry done. I'm your girl.
I will fold your pants. Well, that sounds so weird, but
you wash some dishes. I'll wash some dishes. Whatever you need.
I mean, I got a lot of talents. I got 4 kids. I know how to do laundry, so I can do it. So you ended up getting not only a picture. What did you get that came to your phone?
So we get into the lounge at 5:30, and at 6:30, I got messaged a video of Buddy receiving my gift. And I think I'm not even gonna lie, I probably watched it still like 5 times a day just to make sure it still really happened. And I think even our conversation that we had, and it was I was just in disbelief staring at it, and it's been all my willpower not to say anything to anyone about it and to keep it under wraps, and like,
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That was literally one of the first things I said to you. You sent it to me, and I laughed because I'm going back to our text messages, and one of the very first things you said, and you admitted you had watched it a couple of times, and you were like, did he say my name? And so I'm watching it. Me and Justin are sitting over here watching it, and I'm like, yes, Jen, he said your name. Like,
it was loud. It was loud where I was. So it was like, and he says it right at the beginning, so I had to keep going back and like, Also, I just think it was like my mind was just like on
blown.
I
mean, I watched it 5 times just as soon as you sent it to me. I was like, what? Oh my God, let's watch it again. So you got a video. And if you are watching this on YouTube, again, a really good reason to watch this. If you're listening to this on a podcast app, you're going to hear the video, but it's important to see it just because, I mean, I think Buddy in general, he has such a contagious smile. Like he just oozes personality in all the greatest ways. And so again, if you are watching this on YouTube right now, you're going to get a chance to see what Jen was texted from the Dave Matthews Band because she gave this gift. So hold tight. Here we go. Here's the video.
Jen, wow, thank you. You guessed it, I am a Celtics fan. Been to TD Garden, but never Boston Garden. This is amazing. This will go up at the crib. Thank you so much. And wow, I've never been given something like quite so nice as this. So thank you very much. Hope you have a great time at the show tonight. Enjoy a few drinks and enjoy the good music. Thanks again. All right.
Okay, so you just saw the video that Jen was sent from the Dave Matthews Band when Buddy received the gift that she was so kind to give to Buddy. Jen, what was like your first thoughts? You're watching this, and again, we just kind of talked about like, did he say my name? And I watched it 5 times, and it was loud. Like, what are you thinking when you watch this video?
I'm thinking that 2 months prior, I never thought I was ever going to get it to him. I thought it was going to be an impossible task, and like, I stayed persistent, and here it is. It's made it all the way across the country. I included a note on a paper plate because that was all I had to write on. And just like explain the whole thing to him. And I was just like, I can't believe it actually made it to him. Like, just with a little bit of effort and perseverance, like I got that thing into his hands. I couldn't believe, like, from beginning to end that it actually happened. And then I got a video with Buddy talking to me.
And he just, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at his face, and he just,
so happy.
Again, he's so happy. And one of the things that stuck out to me, I know it stuck out to you, is he literally said, this is going on his walls at his house. He didn't say it like that. He said, this is going in his crib. But we know that means he has put it on his wall for his family and his friends to see at his house. So
and then
not only
every time someone asks about it,
hell
He's gonna
yeah,
talk about me.
I mean, exactly. Like, this fan just gave this to me. She doesn't know me. She didn't try to see me. She wasn't trying to do anything. She just knew that I liked the Celtics. She had this, and she tried to figure out a way to get it to me. And she legit was not trying to like come in and meet the Dave Matthews Band. She was really just being a nice person, she had something that she knew that someone else would love, and she just wanted to give that gift out of love. And I think that he picked up on that for sure. And then, of course, he goes on to say, hey, Jen, I hope that you have a great time. Enjoy the music. Enjoy a few drinks. The music's going to be great, right? Like, all the things that he said, I would still be doing exactly what you're doing. I mean, I'm living through you. I have this video on my phone. I keep watching it just because it's so cool. So I can't imagine, for you, how much better it is because it's to you, right? Like,
it's something I never thought I would never thought I'd be able to accomplish it. And like when I woke up Sunday morning and I'm just like, I can't believe I have to pack this thing, because it literally takes up, because it's probably about that thick because it's in the shadow box.
Oh,
and then it was wrapped in all the bubble wrap to protect
Right.
it when I was flying. And I had to put this back in my bag, and like I have posters now, and like, how is this all gonna fit in my bag? And that part of me was just like, I should just give it away at the campsite because I don't want to take it back with me.
Oh my God! But thank
like
God
my
you
whole
did
goal
not.
was getting it to Buddy. Like that was my goal for the weekend, was to take this and get it to him. I told my friends about it. I finally told them about it on Thursday when they got there, and I kind of explained a little bit what I was trying to do. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I said, honestly, like I set my expectations low because this is a big band, and it's not something where you can just like walk up on stage and give it to them. You just can't. You have to go through levels to get the access to get to someone. And I went through the levels, and you have to be patient. And I'm glad that I sent that email Sunday morning because I was ready to give up. I'm like, let me just give. And I never would have seen that message because it was buried so far down my phone from a number I didn't know. And so I would never have gone looking for it. And once they said that they tried to get a hold of me and it was my correct number, I scrolled down and saw it. And this person even joked when we met in person, saying that, it sounds like one of those stupid political text messages, like, hey, it's
that everyone's getting
from the Democratic Party. Can we count? Because that's like how it started out. Like
exactly.
Like, hey, this is so and so from DMB, and he goes like, I figured you probably like went to your spam or you just passed over it because it was like a generic message, but.
Exactly. But I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better. Your first trip to the Gorge, not only did you experience just the Gorge by itself and the community of fans that are there and all that they're doing, but then a couple of levels up, you got to indirectly present Buddy with a very thoughtful gift, one that I know that he will hold on to probably for the rest of his life and talk about, just like you said. And so, your trip to the Gorge is your journey, your pilgrimage to the Gorge. Your story will never be matched. I mean, there's never going to be an exact story just like yours. And that's, what I continue to say throughout this podcast is, we all love the same band. And even if you found the band on the same day that I did, your journey is going to look completely different than mine. And so there are thousands of beautiful fan stories out there just waiting to be collected. And so, I can't encourage you, if you're interested in sharing your journey with the Space Between podcast, please reach out to me. And say that you would love to share your story. I'm always looking for new people. So, one of the big things about the Gorge, and especially this year, well, every concert, the Dave Matthews Band has, and I know we talked a little bit about this before I started recording, we talked about how neither one of us, Jen or I, have never been collectors of art. There are people out there that are like fine collectors, have their Monets, their blah, blah, blahs, their Picasso, whatever, all the things. I don't even know. That's like the only artist I know because it's like the famous ones. But there are people that collect art. I have never been a collector of art. And I know Jen said she wasn't either, but one of the things that you kind of fall into usually head first is the art behind the Dave Matthews Band. There are so many artists that create their posters for them, and the Dave Matthews Band is known for having a poster for each night, if not more than one, if not, just it can get complicated and it can get really expensive. But of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see in not only Jen's background, but in my background, that we went down that rabbit hole, and we've hit it hard. I mean, we've made some calculated decisions here about how far apart you should put your posters.
We've done it all. You have to make here. There's a choice you have to make. Count your posters out first.
You got to. I mean, there's so much measurements. Jen, when she got her posters, you had someone come in and professionally hang them, and I held on to that vision in my head, and I was like, yep, that's exactly what I want. I've seen a lot of fans do that with what they're calling as like a gallery wall, very professionally put up, very displayed, very, very, it's beautiful. And so I just recently did that. So thank you, Jen, for the inspiration of what to do with our posters. But so you've been on this poster voyage for a while, and you go into the Gorge going, okay, I'm probably going to pick up 3 more. But how many did you come back with?
Came back with 6.
Now tell us how that happened. Did you get 2 of each? Like, what happened?
So with most events that you go to, like let's talk about SPAC for a second. So SPAC is a Friday, Saturday. You get you get 3 posters. You get a Friday poster, a Saturday poster, and a weekend poster.
Gotcha.
So that's with a multiple night stand. That's usually how they do it. There's usually 1 poster each night, and then there's usually, if it's a multi-night, there's 1 event poster. So yeah. So maybe 4, maybe at the Gorge. Maybe I was thinking 4, but of course, like people that have gone to the Gorge before or Mexico, they do these things called triptychs, and it's 3 separate posters that, when combined, make 1 poster.
Of course.
So basically, they just take 1 big poster and cut it in 3, and you pay for it 3 times. Is all they're
3
doing.
installments of $99.99.
Exactly. But wait, there's more, because there is.
Yeah, but wait.
Because if you couldn't get your hands on that, or even if you did, you still had the event poster each night. So they had an event poster for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then if you're really into it, which I'm not at that level, then you get the foil as well. But
hell yeah.
So there's different levels you can go. You might be like, I just want the triptych, and that's all I want.
And that's cool.
Or you'd be like, I just want the event poster each night, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But then
you wanted all of them.
So it's my first one. I said I want to commemorate it. So
exactly. And I mean, aren't you glad that you did that? Because, knowing what happened on night 3, you would have kicked yourself had you not gotten night 1 and night 2, because this really is not just a representation of your first trip to the Gorge, but it will always and forever be a representation of this memory that happened on your first trip of the Gorge too, which is just incredibly special. So, I mean, you know what? You're just going to have to find the space for 6 more posters on your wall. It is.
Do some rotating.
I don't know.
Some stuff's going to come down. You made the first cut, but not the second. So.
So, also before we recorded, we talked about that Jen just recently cheated on the Dave Matthews Band. Talk about how this happened. Like, and I say that very, like, I'm laughing as I say that, because of course we all listen to different music. We all go to a million concerts, whatever we can get our hands on or our eyes. Live music is such a big thing in all of our lives. And so obviously the Dave Matthews Band is not touring all of the time. And even if they are, they may not be in Rhode Island, right? Like within a feasible driving distance for you. So we go and we try to find new bands. And this band, before she talks about it, I have to say that within the community of the Dave Matthews Band fans, this is like the next big thing that people are talking about. It is all over social media. It is everything that I hear about. I do not know a whole lot about this band. I'm familiar with like 1 or 2 songs. And honestly, the reason why I haven't dug in is because I'm nervous, because every single person that digs in a little bit gets pulled in real hard and it becomes another thing. And I do not need another thing right now. So tell us who you went to go see just recently.
So I bought this ticket 2 weeks ago. They had a summer tour, which because of my work schedule, I couldn't get out to their summer tour. They're a band. They're from Connecticut, and they were playing in Connecticut, and I couldn't get to that. They announced a fall tour, and I was like, wow, what a great idea. Their third night at this venue is the day after I get home from the Gorge. What could be wrong with that? Like, I'm not going to be tired or anything.
No.
So I went last night and saw Goose.
Ooh.
And they are everything everyone talks about. They are phenomenal. They're high energy. They are a jam band. Their fans are really, really into them. Like, we are really, really into Dave Matthews. And it was, for me, seeing a band from a different perspective as a newbie with people who are just in love with this band. And I made the comment to Renae earlier about that this is what, for me, seeing this band, what must be like when we drag someone to a Dave concert for the first time and they're watching all of us and seeing like how into it we are. I mean, these people were into this band and they were dancing up a storm, high energy. They knew all the lyrics and the rhythms, and it was great to see something from a new perspective. They're great. They were, I like Renae. I don't know all the songs. Like, I have Alexa play the music for me, and she puts on, I don't know the names of the songs. I couldn't I remember halfway through the show, I texted one of my Dave Matthews friends who was there, and I go, so what was that set list? First, because they do an intermission. So intermission, I was like, so they do like a 15-minute intermission halfway through the show.
Oh, wow.
And so I texted, I'm like, what was that set list? Because I had no idea. I knew one song, the name of one song for the first half, and I knew the one song in the second half. So, and then another fan that was there, he's like, how do you like this? This is phenomenal for your first show. And I'm thinking, like, this is what I would say to someone at their first Dave show. Like, wow, you saw a phenomenal set list your first show. And like, here these guys are being like, I can't believe you got this song on your first show. And I'm like, I don't even know what that song is.
I don't even know what you're talking about. It was my first time to hear all of that. I know. I do think sometimes about how cool it would be to hear the music of the Dave Matthews Band again with a fresh pair of ears, to have never heard their music, and that's why it's so exciting. Like in 2023 when their new album came out, or in 2018 when their new album came out, like to hear music by a band that I loved so much but did not know like what the sound was going to be next or what the word was going to be next. There was something really cool about that because it made you just kind of listen and focus. And I mean, I wish that I could go back to that time, and I hope that the Dave Matthews Band continues to make new and fresh music as we go along, but they may not. But, like you said, it is weird to be in a setting where you don't know the songs, because we do come from such a background in our Dave journeys where I can safely say we're probably going to be able to sing just about anything that he throws out to us. I mean, I have that kind of confidence in my fanhood. There's nothing that there's nothing that they're going to sing that I have not heard before, unless it's new. And that is it. And I feel really comfortable in that. There is some comfortability in that, going okay, throw me whatever you got, buddy. I'm about to sing it with you. And I love that so much. But to be at a concert where I don't know anything, it's exciting, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's all great things, but then there is that weird feeling because we're so used to quite the opposite. So it is good to remember those things as we invite our friends to come along on their own personal Dave journey of like remembering how weird it is to be the newbie and to not understand. I often think about like us as, longtime Dave fans, we throw out acronyms like nobody's business, for instance, Under the Table and Dreaming. Oftentimes people will just abbreviate the first letter of each. Yeah, I mean, we throw out stuff all the time, and unless you're really into that music and you've been kind of in a relationship with that band for a while, you've no clue what we're talking about. And so this is not the only band that operates that way. I'm sure there are things that Goose has put out that fans talk about in some certain ways or whatever. And so, it is interesting and it's cool. And I'll say it. It's good to branch out and find new music, because as much as we know, we will always have the music of the Dave Matthews Band. Like, we'll have it forever, because thankfully we live in a time where things are recorded and we can always we can jump back to 91 if we want. 2005, what do you want? We can go to that right now. We are closer to the end of the Dave Matthews Band than we are closer to the beginning. And so it's important that we remember that there's still some really great music out there, and just starting to build those relationships with other forms of music and other kinds. And I mean, I get uncomfortable just talking about that. I do. I'm like, no, I'm not going to talk about that. And people don't generally want me to talk about that. But I guess it's just like the nurse in me. I'm like, you need to be prepared. Your heart and your mind need to be prepared for the day, because y'all, it's coming.
The farewell tour.
And the something, or, I mean, we're not promised tomorrow.
Yeah,
we're not promised
maybe
tomorrow.
They're not going to tour next summer. We're all talking about so what venues are you going to next summer? I'm like,
I mean, I'm not a rumor starter, but I will say there is quite, and I've told you this, Jen, there is quite the chatter, and usually the chatter that I hear comes from pretty good resources. Could be wrong, and this never came officially from the band, but we're hearing there will not be a 2025 summer tour. And so if there is, great, but I'm preparing my heart, my mind, and my soul for taking 2025 and just maybe saving some money. Woo! Like, I'm not going to be able to retire after 1 year of not going to see Dave. But from what I hear from those same sources is, even though there's not going to be full band tours, there will be, and again, this is all hearsay, like things that I can't confirm or deny any of this, but that there will be Dave and Tim opportunities. As we know, Dave and Tim have already scheduled their event in January 2025. So there will be Dave and Tim events through 2025. And I hear the one concert, the one that might happen in 2025. I hope it happens. This is what people are talking about again. Again, it may not happen. I hope it does. The one that they're talking about doing is the Sphere in Las Vegas. Oh my God.
Better save them dollars up for those tickets.
Save that money, y'all, because that's an expensive trip. That's going to be an expensive ticket. I can't imagine let's talk about this. If they do that, I can't imagine that they would only do one night. I would think that it would have to be a weekend or
like a lot
week
of effort
or like,
to put that show together for one night. There's no way they would do it for one night.
Yeah, maybe I don't think so.
For a month.
I don't even know that a month. I mean, like, I don't think they could do it for a month. I mean, I think they could do it for a month. I just don't. I don't know what the details will look like, but that's what I'm hearing, is that they're really trying to work that out. It's been in the talks for a while. I think that would be amazing. I've seen what other bands have been able to do inside of the Sphere and just the visual effects. Dude, if you're not doing mushrooms in the Sphere, you should be, because y'all, it's gonna be crazy. And I mean,
you have to go 2 nights. One when you're okay, and one where you're kind of tripping a little bit. So
you're just looking up. I mean, like, I've been to the Sphere once, and it was not for a concert. It was just for like the Sphere experience, which is something you can just go in and they like. I mean, honestly, it was super cool. So just the thought of the chance that this may happen, where my favorite band, your favorite band, will be in this brand new iconic Back to the Future shit technology.
It would be amazing.
Like, what? I will just stand there and like awe and let them just do it to me. I mean, like, it's going to be amazing. I hope it happens, but that's what people are saying. So we'll see what 2025 looks like when 2025 gets here. But, we can celebrate because, of course, just recently, I think it was right after the Gorge, they said, "Hey, we are back on the road. We're going to do a fall tour." And so they announced that, of course, their next show back is in Kentucky, which I want to say right now, I had a guest on the show well before Kentucky was ever talked about, and she was from Kentucky. And when she said she was from Kentucky, I said, "You know what? I would love for Dave to play in Kentucky, and here's why." My husband is a big fan of bourbon, whiskey, and of course the Bourbon Trail is there. Kentucky is known for their American whiskey, bourbon, all of that. And so I was like, let's just put that out there. She was like, yeah, girl, let's put that out there. Kentucky, let's do Kentucky. Dave Matthews Band, let's do Kentucky. Well, what happened a few months later? Boom. The Dave Matthews Band was like, we're going to a festival called Bourbon and Beyond in Louisville, Kentucky. So that is the next stage for our boys. Full band festival. It's so many amazing headliners that will be in Kentucky. And again, if you're into the bourbon scene or not, I mean, Kentucky is a beautiful state. It's going to be a really great concert. I just know it. And of course, the Space Between podcasts will be there. We have an official event the day that the Dave Matthews Band will be playing at Bourbon and Beyond. So be sure to watch on all the socials for the events. After that, of course, they are hitting the East Coast. Lucky East Coast, except for Ohio. Ohio's getting drug in there with the East Coast too. So I don't have the. Let's see. Where are they going this fall? Let's pull this up.
They are going off the top of my head, Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Now it says after Louisville they're going to Saratoga Springs. Is that for a festival?
That's Farm
Okay,
Aid.
so that's Farm Aid, and that's so literally the day after.
Dave and Tim.
Oh, that's true. That's Farm Aid. So that's Dave and Tim, and that's the day after they leave Kentucky. So there's a tight squeeze in there. And then a few days later, they're doing Franklin, Tennessee. I'm going to guess that is also a festival.
That's Pilgrimage Festival.
Okay, Pilgrimage Festival. Then Ocean City, Maryland is
the Ocean's
Calling. Mm-hmm. And then Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's that a festival?
Fall tour. That's fall tour.
That's starting fall tour. So Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, followed by Columbus, Ohio, Connecticut. Of course, they're going to the beautiful casino. What is it called? Mohegan Sun. Mm-hmm. That's right, Mohegan Sun. That's did you say it was like a Tuesday, Wednesday show though, right?
Tuesday, Wednesday. Yep.
It's a harder one to get to, but it's 2 nights. People love that venue.
Beautiful
right after
area.
that, they're going to MSG again. Of course, that's beautiful New York. Always wanted to do that trip. It always falls right around my birthday. So I'm like, yeah, see, the Dave Matthews Band is like personally inviting me to celebrate my birthday with the Dave Matthews Band. However, it's expensive for a girl from Arkansas to fly to New York City right around Thanksgiving. I mean, everybody and their mama is trying to go to New York City to see the Christmas tree, to see all the things. I can't get there. It's almost an unreachable thing for me.
It's easier when you're on the East Coast.
It's easier for you guys. Yeah, you just hop in. I know. So lucky guys. And then that is the last stop, literally and figuratively, for the Dave Matthews Band for their fall 2024 tour. Although on their official fall 2024 tour poster, if you will, they also did include the Mexico trip as part of their fall 2024, which we know that is really more of a winter tour. But like we said earlier, Dave and Tim will be back in Mexico in January on the 24th, 25th, and 26th for Dave and Tim, which, as I like to call it, is our Dave and Tim conference. That's where all the Dave people go to have their conferences. We have breakout sessions where we learn about photographers and, whatever we can learn about the Dave Matthews Band. I'm totally into that kind of conference. Sign me up every day, all day. I'll be there to learn all of the things. But here's what I'm thinking. I was thinking about this the other day. And of course, again, this is all stuff that I've made up in my mind, but I know that we all do this. So I'm like, okay, let's just imagine a world in 2025 where the Dave Matthews Band is not going to have a summer tour. So all these dudes have other things that they do besides the Dave Matthews Band. Jeff just posted on his social media that he's back to teaching. He's so glad to be with children and blah, blah, blah. So like they've all got their things to do outside of the Dave Matthews Band. However, I have thought, like in Mexico. We're so far out. They haven't done anything together since November. What are the chances that a few of them slip down to Mexico? Because we know that Buddy has before, made an appearance, came on stage, did all the things. What are the chances that some of them will slip down to Mexico? Who doesn't need a good trip to Mexico in January?
Right.
I know
we
I
might
do.
miss each other.
Sign me up. Yeah, they're brothers. Come on down. Come on down, buddy. We will treat you right. We won't. I will not chase you. I will not. I mean, we'll see what happens. And so that's what our immediate future looks like. We'll see what happens next as far as tour schedules. I mean, again, we're all just putting our wishes and thoughts out there. None of us know. None of us have special ties or connections to the band, except for Jen here. I mean, she made some stuff happen.
Yeah.
She made some things happen. So, hey, maybe send a few emails to the same people and go, hey, I'm going to need to hire a counselor in the summer of 2025 to get through this lull that the Dave Matthews Band has created for me.
Don't do it to us.
Just give me a heads up so that I can put some money to the side for my therapy.
Maybe I can go do something else and not plan my summer around concerts and venues.
I don't even know what else I want to do. And that's funny because, like, obviously, I mean, I have 4 kids and a husband, and I love to do things with them. But the last couple of summers in my life, and I know for you too, have just been so planned around what the band was going to do. And even I've had bosses in my past that would come to me before a schedule would come out and go, hey, Renae, I need to know when the Dave Matthews Band is playing because I want to schedule my vacation, but I know not to plan it when you're going to be gone to the Dave Matthews Band. Like, my whole world revolves around the Dave Matthews Band. And, I'm trying to really hunker down and enjoy this feeling because, again, it's not going to be forever. We are all going to have periods in our lives where this is not going to be a part of our lives. But for right now, while it is, celebrate we will. All right, Jen? We're celebrating.
Definitely. If they do the Sphere, then we're going to do it.
Fingers crossed, guys. You heard it here at the Space Between.
Space Between Airbnb.
I mean, hey, yeah, I mean, I can't guarantee anything because, it's like after Christmas and then after Mexico and then they try to pull a Las Vegas on me. I'm going to have to get a second job to make this shit happen.
That's what they did to us last year.
I know, because they did go to Las Vegas
last year. Did South Africa, and I was like, that was
right.
Cool. And I didn't do Mexico, but then I was like, oh, look, there's a trip to Vegas. Let's go to Vegas.
Oh my God. And I'm so glad you did because that's where we got to meet each other for the very first time. And I mean, the Vegas show, people want to hate on the Vegas show. Dude, I thought it was amazing.
I liked it.
I got the Space Between. I can't complain anytime we get that because that's really not a song he plays a whole lot. So when I get it, I relish in it. I'm like, yay, we got the Space Between. So we'll just see what happens. But for right now, we're so excited that we got the fall tour. I'm so excited that you got to go to the Gorge the first time because, again, that is really just a venue that every fan wants to at least check off and do once because it is so incredibly hard to form an opinion about it until you've gone.
We had some song liberations and we had some tour debuts on the last weekend of the tour.
Yes.
You're guaranteed to get something special at the Gorge. Always. Whether it's Joe Lawler coming out or Corey Wong. I mean, he was amazing when he came back. Trombone Shorty when he came out. I mean, they're all so good. It's such a treat that you're not going to get at a regular tour stop.
That's right. And if you guys are listening to this and you're not familiar with what the Couch Tour is, the Couch Tour is a group on Facebook that you can join just by answering a few simple questions about the Dave Matthews Band. And that is going to give you access to literally watch every show for free. I say every show. Yes, there are going to be shows from time to time where the reception's terrible. People can't get cell phone service. But for the most part, there is almost always someone there in the crowd streaming directly onto Facebook so that you can be on your couch watching a live show. And so that's really enabled us to even become part of this group, this community even more because, we do sit on the couch together and we read those comments and we see all our friends and how excited they are just from sitting at home watching a live show and how much joy that gives so many people. So, we've just been super blessed being fans of the Dave Matthews Band. We've been super spoiled with all of the things that we have been able to do with this band, and to have such longevity with them as well. So, I hope we have many more years ahead of us, but I also do realize the fact that they've been killing it for a very long time now. It's been a while since they took a break. I mean, I guess their most recent break, like long break, would have been during COVID, which I can't really count that as a break, because while they did get to sit at home, they did do some things musically. Obviously, we watched them from their living rooms and different things. But, that was such a stressful time that I don't know that I can consider that a vacation for them.
They also wrote music and then came out with an album.
True, exactly. So, I can recognize the fact that there probably is some need for some personal time to reconnect with your wife, with your children, and all of those beautiful things that they have, outside of the Dave Matthews Band. So I am such an encourager of people really investing back into their families and doing that. So, while I'm very selfishly going, no, don't do it, at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Yes, fill your soul, fill your heart, and then come back and do that again for us some more. So,
but also this past summer, how sad were we between Camden and Denver? And we're just like,
yeah.
I think Camden was the last one before they break.
I don't even remember. I mean, it's so funny how that
one month break. Like it was like, God, like hasn't it been like 4 weeks yet? And it's like it's been 1 week, and you're like, you're so used to following it on a couch tour and like checking the set list, and all of a sudden like you have nothing to check on, and you're just,
I know, what are we going to do? I mean,
that was only a month. What if it's the whole summer? If
it's a whole summer, well, here's what I want to say. I will, if they do not tour in 2025. I want to throw a Dave Matthews Band fan get together of some sort, during the summer, like, I don't know where or when or how or what or whatever, but like, I think that it's important that community stays close knit. And I know that those things are already happening, in between, tour sets, whether that be after winter, whatever. Fans are getting together on their own, creating events so that they can continue to see this community of people that we love, that we want to see. And the music is not going to stop us, meaning if the music stops, that's not going to stop us from continuing to get with our Dave
because
people.
You have the New Mexico group, which is they're very prominent. The Tennessee group is, the Philly group. There's a lot of groups out there that do a lot on their own, like you said, do Christmas parties and and if you could bring everyone together for something, whether you have Dave Matthews Tribute Band playing or you have whatever, to bring everyone together. I think in the absence of a summer tour, that could fill a void for a lot of people.
Exactly. And people need people. I can't say that enough. I think we all learned that through COVID, is that we need each other. We need to be around each other. People need to have communities of people with like-minded things. So this is not something that is, when the music is over, this is not something that I'm going to stop. Jen and I will be friends forever. Like there's, and that's the funny thing. You get to know the other fans, and then you find other ways to connect. Like, for the longest time, Jen and I both worked night shift. So we would be up at 2 a.m. talking to each other going, oh my God, have you heard this song recently or whatever, So it's fun. I've never met someone that I just disliked when it came to the Dave Matthews Band. So just good people. So again, if you're not connected with this community, I invite you to really dig into those resources that are through social media. That is what social media has given us the ability to create, is these online communities that have extended into in-person communities and created such a strong community of people. Obviously, that's why I started a podcast, is because there is a story outside of the story of the Dave Matthews Band, and that is just literally the fans that love this music and what they've done, what they've taken off and done on their own because of music. And so that's the story I'm going to continue to write and until I can't any longer. So Jen, thank you so much for being back on the show. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for calling in. The funniest voicemail that you ever left, I think you were literally at a show and you're calling going, they just played whatever, or, whatever. And just the excitement in your voice it was contagious. And I know that when people heard that, they could tell that you were happy, and that the Dave Matthews Band was one of those things that was making you happy. So thank you so much for all your support.
Of course. I mean, I love you and I love the show, and I love hearing everyone's stories. Like and you always say, like, you don't have to have something phenomenal to say. You don't have to have been to 500 shows. It's everyone has a unique experience with this band. And if you don't think you do, you definitely do.
That's right. That's exactly right. I always say you could have been to 0 shows and I still want to talk to you. If you love this band, hey, if you hate this band, I'm still wanting to talk to you, because I gotta hear the reasons why. I know there are people out there. There are millions of people out there that dislike the Dave Matthews Band, but that does not scare me off. I love to have conversations. I continuously say I don't interview people. I have conversations with people about music. And so I am open to any conversation. So reach out to me through any of the socials, and just say, hey, I'd like to talk with you about the Dave Matthews Band or my journey with the Dave Matthews Band. And so fun things coming up. Again, we will be at Bourbon and Beyond. The space between will be at Bourbon and Beyond. So be sure to check out on all those socials for that. If you're not following the space between on Facebook, we now have a new page. And so we're morphing from a group into a page, only because that's just the growth of the podcast. And so it's simply under the space between podcast. On Instagram, it's under the space between _POD. And if you're on TikTok and you like funny videos like I do, I love a good funny video. It's under the space between podcasts, very simply. So you can reach out to me on any of those socials and say, hey, I'd love to know more about sharing my story. But in the meantime, guys, take care of yourself, take care of others, and peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thanks, Jen.